Yeah. We're just researching who's the youngest cardinal. We've been talking about 18-year-old train drivers today, and we're saying, could you have an 18-year-old pope? No, you couldn't. So the youngest cardinal was born in 1980. He's Ukrainian. He's called Mykola Bykok, it looks like.
So he's a cardinal, and that makes him 45?
Yes.
Gosh.
No, I didn't. Really?
He's done well, hasn't he?
No.
Climbed up the ranks.
I like the idea of that. You see, I'd like...
45-year-old.
I'd like to join the clergy if I was going to, progress up the ladder very quickly.
You'd be good as a priest, you know.
I would be very good.
Because you could just talk.
I was expected in our school. There was
They were expecting you to become a priest.
20% of us were expected to go on to the college.
Seminary.
Is that right?
Seminary,
what percentage did go on?
What?
What percentage did go on?
Oh, do you know, it's really interesting. So I left school in 1978, and there was quite a lot. Say there would have been, 20 or so guys every year like that. None.
None?
None now. Yeah. None now. Absolutely none. Not long after that, actually. And they closed the wing down. That was it.
So you won't be voting in the conclave, but 133 cardinals will be, Claire.
Yeah.
You've got this in the Telegraph, haven't you?
Yes, I have. So we just wonder what's going to happen and,
I'm so excited. I'm going to be watching the smoke from the Sistine Chapel.
I think you reckon it's Friday, we'll know.
Yeah, my money's on Friday.
Well, let's see who is... So the latest favourites, the Telegraph are running with 4 favourites. We've got Cardinal Luis Antonio Tali from the Philippines.
I think it'll be him.
Cardinal Peter Turkson, he was a close advisor in climate change. Cardinal Peter Erdo, a Hungarian cardinal, and Matteo Zuppi. But the front runner is Cardinal Parolin, who was an extremely close confidant of Pope Francis. But I really hope it's not him, because he's been involved with a lot of skullduggery and shenanigans in the Vatican. There was a botched takeover of a Harrods site of 180 million euros or something like that, and that was completely gone. And that was ruled in this country actually as being obviously the Vatican might have been taken to task for that.
This was an investment that went wrong.
Yes, went wrong. And,
right.
Francis was supposed to have overhauled the church.
Yeah.
We used to remember it back in the 80s. The Vatican Bank was referred to as Marcinkus Mansions. And there was lots and lots of detail that went amiss in regards to mismanagement of funds in the Vatican. And as we've already discussed, the Vatican is a very small state within Italy, but a very powerful state in terms of money, in terms of land that they own. I mean, did you know the Vatican even owns a good chunk of the Champs-Élysées, for instance?
No.
Yes, it does. And the amount of poverty in the world globally, and yet the Vatican is sitting in so much money.
Yes, but it has to earn its money some way, whatever. But that's fascinating.
It's hugely fascinating.
Norman, let's talk about the winter fuel payments now.
Yes.
We're hearing a lot of soundings whether the government will rethink its policy on this one or not. Well, as we head into summer, does it make a darn bit of difference?
Well, it does in a sense, because it's becoming politically very toxic for the government. The talk now is that they're going to raise the threshold so that more pensioners would qualify for the winter fuel allowance. That might be a sensible outcome, but I think it's gone too far for them. I think they've made such a mess of it that probably politically they ought to just say, sorry, hands up, we got it wrong, and reverse the policy. But I don't think they will. They'll go halfway, and all the mutterings will carry on.
You see, I think politicians standing up and saying, sorry, we got this wrong, we're going to change. I think people would see that as a positive thing, as a good thing.
They respect that, don't they?
I think they would. However, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So why doesn't that happen?
Well, it doesn't happen, I suppose, because people think they're being vulnerable then to the allegation they didn't know what they were doing. But you can't do it all the time. You can't do it with the whole succession policies. But if it's something like this, you can do it. And I think they get a lot of credit for doing so.
And you can with such a controversial, unpopular policy. That became their central policy, didn't it? Right at the very beginning of government. And it's something like 6 in 10 would like to see it fully reversed.
It was completely mishandled, because what happened was it was one of the first things the Chancellor announced. It wasn't part of the budget. It was announced on its own. So there was no good news to counter it.
It wasn't even in their manifesto,
no.
Yeah.
Right, OK. Well, look, hold that thought. Let's hit the break. Okay, we've got Norman, we've got Claire. They've got stories that are making them talk, and hopefully you talk, as I say to you both. All rise, except only if you can. I mean, for instance, you three could all rise, but if we were in court, I couldn't rise. I couldn't get up. Would I worry that I haven't?
Would you be offended?
No.
Exactly.
No. There's lots of things happen, whether it's in church or wherever it is, and you realise, well, obviously I can't do that. But anyway, this is interesting, Claire. So the things have changed then.
Well, in courts in England and Wales over the next few weeks, it will be introduced that when the judge comes into the court, the judges come into every single court sitting in this land, the usher would say, all rise, and everyone, if they could, would get up, right? As a matter of respect. This is a 1,000-year-old tradition. Now, in the case for wokery and inclusion, it will now be all rise if able. I mean, come on. What is the point of all this? Have you been in some of our courts? They're as old as the hills. They're not even capable of facilitating wheelchair access or anything else. But, oh no, we have to be mindful. We have to be mindful of those people that might not be able to get up.
Norman, what do you make of it?
Well, I mean, it's a bit silly, isn't it, I think?
A bit silly, Norman.
And the other thing is, if you end up with a situation where somebody doesn't want to bother getting up, they'll have more excuse not to get up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
Minimises the respect.
All rise if you can be bothered.
Exactly. That's what it will become.
Yes, that's the next
And
thing.
then maybe we all start to slack and we don't stand for judges.
Well, next, judges will be walking in without their robes. You know, court ushers won't have their gowns on. It's all about discipline. It's all about respect, and it's all about tradition, and we need to uphold them at all costs.
You see, I think tradition is very important. Uniforms are very important.
Yes.
Obviously, I was in hospital last week, and hospital was so good. Everybody was so well dressed, and you could tell that person was a nurse, that person is a doctor, that person is from the X-ray or whatever it is. You could tell there was just difference. And everything seemed good. I think when you take those things away from society, who ever thought it was a good idea that bank clerks don't wear uniforms or, you know, this just goes on and on and on. And I don't see the benefit in all of it.
Well, you won't, you know, and wearing your pride and joy of a uniform, whether it be a TfL uniform, whether it be a doctor's white coat, a nurse's uniform, is pride in your job. It's an identity, you know, and I think that's really, and it would erode. The same thing in primary schools. You know my view in this. I hate sweatshirts and polo shirts. It's the shirt and tie. It's a rite of passage. Bring it back.
And very smart as well. Norman, let's have a look at this story, shall we? And I think many people would say, finally, criminals are going to face extra sanctions if they refuse to attend their sentencing.
Well, I'm going to sound uncharacteristically right-wing on this matter, I have to tell you, because I don't think... I mean, this is welcome that, in fact, they should have extra sanctions if they don't turn up. But I'm of the view that they should be made to turn up. I'm of the view that they should be hauled out of their cells and brought to the court and made to face their victims and have to listen to the sentence. That's what I think should happen.
Yeah.
And why is the case that they might not be?
Well, I mean, at the moment they're not. And if you look at, for example, the knife killer Carl Clifford, he didn't go to the courts. He stayed in his cell to be sentenced. I mean, that's quite wrong. They should be able to make
I think quite wrong. There's nothing. I just want to get this off my chest. I watch a lot of these true crime programmes, you know, on satellite telly and whatever. And when you see the police interviewing a suspect, you can get away with, you know, well, Mr. Baker, why were you there on Friday night? No answer, or you can say no comment or whatever it is, you do all that. And this goes on and on and on. And I think, what a complete waste of the police time. You've got 24 hours to charge this guy. It's really quite amazing. I'm just amazed that you just can't take it as a sign of guilt if you don't answer or you don't do that. Anyway, I know. I just wanted to get it off.
But it is this sick trend that we've seen, haven't we? Thomas Cashman, who killed Olivia Pratt-Corbell, he refused to appear.
That's right, yeah.
Axel Rudakabana, he was removed from his sentencing. He was shouting and screaming. And Carl Clifford, as you say, so it's right that it's stopped.